Start with our usual drill. How was your week? What good happened? What bad happened in the gym, nutrition-wise, etc. How you feel? How's your energy? Things like that. So, any wins from the week? I can start. I worked out, got everything in by Friday morning, and then went to the beach for the weekend. So that was my main win. And then I also got in a lot of protein in the morning on Friday, brought something with me. So at the beach, I knew I was going to go out. I wasn't going to worry like, oh, how much is here? How much is there? Like I was trying to get it in before, and I'm going to go home, going to have a high protein meal after. And the rest is like, yeah, calories from fats, calories from carbs, whatever. As long as they fit into my plus and minus maintenance range, we're good. So that was my win. What about you, Josh?
I outran a dog.
Sorry.
Does that count? Does that count as a win?
Oh, I'm here. You ran a dog?
I outran a dog.
What dog?
And my friend has a German Shepherd dog, and we were playing, and I was sprinting away from it, and I outran it, and I thought that was cool.
That's really fun. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Lifting's been okay?
Absolutely. Lifting and sweating, starting to sweat my ass off already. Summer has begun, I feel like.
Yeah, it has. Cool. I also saw you commented a bunch on like how you were worried you logged everything correctly. You logged everything correctly, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's I guess in the workouts they have the sets listed at the top, but then they also have a like set listed right next to the actual input boxes, and I guess those are like your previous best or something.
No, that's what Alexi is telling you to do that day.
Oh, because it looks like they're different from what's written.
It can be like 6 sets total, and that just identifies the amount of rows you get to input your stuff. If you do more, if you like warm up for longer, you can add another row. Just hit the plus at the bottom. But what he says in the main box of like I don't know, deadlift, like 3 sets of 8 reps, 135, and then I don't know, 1 set of 8 reps, 185, and then 225 for 8, etc. So just you kind of abide by that.
I see. Mm-hmm. Well, then we're good.
Yes, you're good. Cool. Awesome. Angela, how's your week been? And welcome. This is your first call.
Yeah, it's been good. Hit the gym all the times that I wanted to hit it. My diet has not been that great, so I'll give you the negative as well. But I'm okay with that. I'll recover. But yeah, doing good, hitting legs, all that stuff, dealing with stress in a healthy way.
I see. Do you want to introduce yourself to the rest of the folks? Because these calls are recorded, so I just posted the link in the group for whoever cannot attend on Sunday, so people usually watch after. Do you want to tell them what you do, how long you've been lifting, what are your favorite things, I don't know, in the gym or anywhere else? So
yeah, so I'm Angela. I'm a PhD student at Duke, starting my 6th year next fall, so I'm almost done. I've been lifting for I think 8 years now. I started right out of high school. I gained a bunch of weight after high school, and I was always heavy in high school too. And finally, was just sick of it. Wanted to lose the extra weight. Started doing maybe like bodybuilding style, but mostly just learning the ropes for a couple years. And then I started doing powerlifting. Did my first competition in New Mexico, and I won all these medals. So that was a lot of very inspirational for me, keep me motivated. And then, so that was in 2015.
Right.
Then I moved here to North Carolina, did another powerlifting competition, and I got that elite total for the USPA that I was looking for, and then an international elite deadlift total. What was that?
What was the total?
I want to say it was like 840, I think.
That's
is
awesome.
Considered elite. Yeah. And then the deadlift, I got 375. Nice. And that's international elite according to the labels. So that was super nice. But lately I've been doing mostly bodybuilding. So I still deadlift a lot because that's my favorite. I love to deadlift. but I'm caring more about aesthetics and symmetry and all these other aesthetic features. So that's what I've been focusing on lately. But still keeping my powerlifting roots, still lifting heavy, going hard. Outside of the gym, I do a lot of stuff with animals. So right now I'm fostering a cat. So if anybody wants to adopt a cat, they can hit me up. And then I have my own pets as well. And I do a lot of hiking. So that's my biggest cardio, just hiking every day. So lots of just finding fun ways to keep active, keep fit, and let me eat a little bit more, because the more you work out, the more you can eat. That's
Nice.
the goal.
I like that too. More activity and more food. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Caitlin, how are you? How was your week? I see you're working or studying.
Yeah, I'm doing some work in the library. So my work was good, or my week was good. I didn't hit the gym as much just because fasting is a little hard with the gym, but I did go clothes shopping, so I had a lot of non-scale victories.
That's cardio. Clothes shopping is cardio.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah,
though. Walk so much.
That's true. So I'm down to like a size 16 in pant, but I could even squeeze into a 14, which is really exciting because usually I'm around like 18. So it was a very positive experience. I was very happy. So
yeah. Awesome. That makes me happy. Did you look at the lifting belts?
Yes, I have like a list of things I have to buy. Like I still have to buy the weightlifting shoes. I just like am behind schedule, but I'll try to sit down and do that within the next 3 days.
You can still lift in Converses. I would say belt is more important than shoes for now.
Okay.
So belt is number 1, lifting straps is number 2, wrist straps is number 3, and then shoes are number 4 on your list.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's jump in to the presentation. If you guys are ready, I have been making this thing all morning, so I hope it's dope. I think it's wonderful, but I hope you like it still. I'm gonna collapse this little thing. All right, so I don't see y'all's faces because I've collapsed the Zoom thingy, so you can speak over me if you have a question or anything like that. Cool? So, I know y'all are not vegan, and I'm not forcing anything on anybody. However, people talk a lot about how like, ooh, steak is like great nutrition, and so are whole eggs and things like that. And like, there's better, alternatives that have less cholesterol and less fat. There's better alternatives that are sometimes accidentally vegan. So if you have heart problems, that may be something to look into. Or if you just want to decrease the calories of your intake and still eat delicious foods, that also may be helpful. So first things first, a lot of people tell me, and Angela is probably recognizing this because this is a screenshot from Coach Greg. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm like bulking, I'm gonna like gain 10 pounds of muscle this year, and then they've been lifting for many years, right? So say if you're in year 3 and you have like great genetics, you're a dude, you can't gain 10 pounds of muscle. I'm sorry, it's gonna be fat. So I just want to bring everybody's expectations to reality. If you just started lifting, you've never been lifting in your life, as a female, you can only gain like 5 pounds, and as a male, you can only gain like 10 pounds, and next year is going to be half that, and next year is going to be half that. If you're lucky, and if you're consistent with nutrition and exercise, and you do some form of cardio, and the more you lift, the more benign your gains are going to get. So it's really discouraging, but like that's reality. I'm sorry, unless you take steroids, which I don't recommend, then your weight gains in terms of muscle gains are going to plateau, and also weight loss is going to plateau. It's hard to lose like the last couple pounds of fat when you're already pretty lean. So get humble and put the work in, and don't try to jump huge amounts of muscle gain per year. That would serve you best. This is the infographic that somebody posted on Instagram that really triggered me. So I put the screenshot in here. And as you can see, it says 8 great foods to eat when you're bulking. first, when you're bulking, you want to put on muscle. You don't want to put on fat. Why would you want to eat a lot and put on fat and then have to lose it all and lose a little bit of muscle with it, right? Like you always put on both fat and muscle, and you always shred both fat and muscle. It's just how metabolism works. It's how your body works. So there's no reason to gain fat while you're bulking. Don't, if you just want to eat too much, then don't hide your, getting overweight with, oh, I'm just bulking. Like that's stupid. That's not how I work. So dietary fats, yes, they're important for neural function and hormone levels. But they're not very anabolic. As long as you get like 35 to 55 grams a day, depending on how big of a person you are and if you're male or female, that's all you need to stay healthy. And the excess is probably going to be stored by your body because fats are really easy to store, right? They're calorie dense, they're 9 calories per gram, low fiber, they digest really quickly, and they're really easy to overeat. So it's pretty dangerous to eat most of the foods that are here on the slide that are high fat. Nut butters, avocado, we know high fat. Cheese, we know high fat. Has quite some protein as well, sure. Steak, it's mainly fat. And so is also fish steak. So don't confuse these foods as anabolic or muscle building foods. I wish there was eggs on the slide as well, because unless you're eating egg whites, eggs are really high fat. They're mainly fat, not protein. If you eat egg whites, sure, it's mainly protein, but like reality check here. Moving to the first couple of things on the list. Yeah, people like to eat cereal, people like to eat bread. That's cool. Know that it's mostly carbs. Know that there is a lot of sugar in there. So you can definitely eat that if you like it, but I would combine it with something higher fiber or higher protein, because most of these are pretty low fiber, except for maybe like the mini wheats or maybe like one other one. So the insulin, how much the food spikes your insulin matters, but it's how much the whole meal spikes your insulin, not just this food, right? So you can pair, if you like something, not very macro friendly, you could pair with something more macro friendly and still get some benefits from your meal. And I'm gonna have tips in a couple of slides. Another thing, that was on the list, pasta, right? Good job, you can eat your pasta. First, this is 1 cup. 1 cup has 221 calories. Can you tell me how many people eat just 1 cup of pasta? I don't. I want to eat a bowl of pasta. And it has a lot of calories, and it's mainly carbs, like 43 grams per cup. You eat 2 cups, put sauce, put butter in there. Like, if you put some very lean meat in there or some tofu, which is also high fat, then like it could be okay, but watch out. So to the insulin index of a meal, you can't have those things, right? You can't have your pastas and breads and things. But not to have like a huge spike, you need to combine them with some other items, right? So something high fiber and something high protein, for example. So if you eat something high fiber, such as you start your meal with veggies, and then you have, I don't know, your TVP, your protein, your lean fish, your egg whites, your cottage cheese, your seitan in the beginning, and then in the end you can have dessert. And then your overall insulin index of a meal is not gonna, drive you crazy and drive your body crazy and make you store fat. Another cool thing that I've learned from somebody who lost, I have a friend, I think she lost like 150 pounds. She used to be extra obese, and now she's like a normal size, is she would go for a walk for just a little bit, 5-10 minutes after each meal. And that helps moving a little bit after a meal. First, helps you not get stuffed. And second, it helps your body to kind of start using the glucose that's already in your blood after a meal and burn it all off, burn a little bit of that off while you're moving after your meal. So if you just do that, first thing is go on a short walk after a meal, that has very surprising but awesome health benefits. Combining carbs and protein. Can I leave it open, please? I'm sorry.
Okay, there's flies coming.
Okay, you can close that. Sorry. So if you try to combine carbs and protein or fats and protein, that's gonna help you not get your blood sugar super high and not get really drowsy and have a food coma. But if you combine fats and carbs, pretty much all fast food and all desserts, that's a recipe for increased insulin and the fats that your body is going to produce, the fats and the carbs that you have just eaten, they're going to essentially get stored by your body. The only, I would guess, exception for when that meal could serve you good is if you eat something that spikes your insulin, something small that spikes your insulin right before a workout, if you are a slow gainer. So because when insulin is spiked, your body wants to store and it wants to create either fat or muscle. So if you do this before the workout, it can create more muscle, but that you don't need a lot. You need to eat half a cake and a huge bowl of cereal to do that. And you need to keep the meal relatively low fat. It's mainly carbs and a little bit of fat for that purpose. All right, we're gonna quickly stop for questions here.
I don't have a question, but I wanted to point out that cereal infographic, the healthy cereals were actually a lot more calories than the not healthy cereals. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Just healthy doesn't mean low calorie.
Right. So that's a really good point, actually. If you see in the front of the food, it says, healthy, organic, low fat, gluten-free, non-GM, all of this stuff. If you see those labels, a lot of the times the food will be higher in calories than your normal thing because they're putting so much effort into marketing that new thing. And what you need to do is you turn that food around and just read the nutrition label in the back. That's the only thing that matters when you buy anything ever. What it says on the front, how green and how many bunnies it has and how many, I don't know, other trigger words for people who don't actually know anything about nutrition, that doesn't matter at all. So good point, Angela. Thank you. All right, we're going back to the slides. So in case you need any food replacement ideas, I do have a blog with replacements for most things that we cook holiday meals with. So, your oils and your butters and your sweeteners. So if you want to go to Total Body Lab blog, there's a huge list of things that you can replace. This is just a small screenshot that compares that in a tablespoon of olive oil, there's the same amount of calories as in a medium sweet potato. And a lot of people are afraid of sugar, even though a cup of sugar only has 773 calories, and oil has almost 2,000. So that's almost triple that. So you can still have your sugar. You don't like stevia? Fine. Put sugar in your coffee. Don't put cream. You know what I mean? So it's about picking and choosing. All right. The right couple of pictures are screenshots from like a health website where you can see that they're like highlighting, cholesterol-free, gluten-free, low in saturated fat, and like those trigger words that you see in the stores a lot. So that's why I put them here. And I'm just gonna try to break down that like all this crap, it doesn't matter. Like it seriously does not matter. What matters is in 24 almonds, there is 164 calories. That's now not a medium, that's a large sweet potato. That is, I don't know how many apples. 10, 5, a lot. And also, if you want to eat nuts, make yourself a little bowl and eat them with fiber. As you can see, they have like 3.5 grams fiber. That's fine, but they have 14 grams fat. The majority of the calories here are coming from fat. So eat your nuts with some fiber. Put them on top of your salad. Sprinkle them on top of your, I don't know, other meals, your main course. But don't eat them separately. Don't put a snack of a bowl of almonds next to your workspace and then kill the bowl and be like, well, shit, I just ate 600 calories of almonds and that was a snack, man. And then when you measure your butters, same thing, right? With nut butters, pretty much the same amount of calories, 200 calories in a serving of peanut butter. How you want to measure it is you want to put it on the food scale, and then you want to take a spoon and you zero the scale, and then you spoon it out, and whatever is negative amount, that's your measurement. Because if you measure it by volume, your spoon can be big and it can be large. On the back, it says, yeah, in 2 spoons, it has however many calories. go by grams. Ditch the volume measures when it comes to fats. You can use the volume measures when it comes to like your proteins and your carbs sometimes if you're really familiar with that, but I would recommend going by grams if you want to be precise over everything else, over volume measure for sure. Avocado. So I like avocado instead of oil. Instead of like a tablespoon of olive oil, I'll just have half an avocado. It is very high calorie and very fatty, but I really like it. And, you know, instead of oil, I would just have that. It has more fiber, even though it is still high fat, but it also has more carbs, and the fiber helps you digest it for longer. So for example, that's my half an avocado, right? 125 calories, same as an oil. However, that one has fiber and this one does not, right? So if you sprinkle oil or butter, digest very quickly. You can pour a little bit, you can pour a lot. You don't really know how much you drizzle, unless you, of course, put on the scale, zero it out, then drizzle, put it back on the scale, and note the amount that you poured. So I hope that makes sense. When I'm in prep, that's how I always do it. So highly recommend you guys try. Steak. Great, sugar-free. Very happy about that. I don't know what vitamins they're talking about here. I mean, it has B6 and all the B group vitamins, but you can take those. And it has iron. You can eat some spinach with some oranges or something that has vitamin C and is going to get absorbed. So I don't know. It's 35% protein only, and the majority of it is fat. A lot of the calories come from fat. This must be a very lean steak, right? If you get like a ribeye or something fatty, then like that's a lot more. So this is your best scenario: 35% protein, not very anabolic. Yeah, salmon a little better, but a lot of the cuts of salmon are even fattier than your meat steaks, right? So if you do go for fish, go for white fish or go for like octopus, squid, shellfish. You know, they are pretty much all protein, obviously no carbs, and almost no fat. And if you go for meats, you can get your turkey, you can get your game meat, you can get your chicken, even though chicken is a really polluted meat, whatever those guys eat, like turkeys die from, where chickens don't. So chicken is a really dirty meat. So sorry for that. Cheese, obviously mainly fat. We all know that. The harder the cheese is, say like Parmesan, the more protein is going to be, just FYI. Feta has better macros as well. If you get your bries and your mozzarellas and your cheddars, then it's a lot more fat. And as we know, 9 calories per gram, very small amount. With a glass of wine, how much cheese can you eat? You just had like a 600 calories extra, and there goes your morning run for an hour. So some ideas of what to actually eat instead. I personally, you know, I'm a huge fan of tofu. So that's my typical breakfast. I would have tofu pudding with some seeds on top, like chia or pumpkin or hemp or flax or sunflower. Those are the most high protein seeds that there are. So I usually use those instead of like almonds and walnuts and hazelnuts, etc. Those are like my treat nuts, and the seeds are usually higher in micronutrients, higher in protein, a little bit less fat, a little bit more fiber. So small tricks here as well. Let's see, the recipes, I think on the website, I'm going to throw the nutrition information in there that I've calculated, but silken tofu is 62% protein, 0 cholesterol, minimal amount. I think it's 1 gram carb, 2 grams fat, or vice versa. So, and you can eat a lot of it. Like I eat this whole block for breakfast. Like this is everything that's on the slide, like, except for obviously I don't eat the whole jam jar, the whole jar jam, but pretty much everything. And I don't eat the whole bag of stevia, but like all of the tofu, all of the strawberries, and probably the entire lemon, like I eat for breakfast every day. And man, that satisfies me until lunch for sure, 100%. And it's like 30 grams protein. Seitan. Mine is usually not that high protein because I put a lot of zucchini in there. I put a lot of carrots in there or whatever vegetable I have. I will steam it and then throw it in the batter. Why? Because I like to eat more of that. So that's your zucchini, your carrots, your other high fiber veggies, really bulk it up. So I can eat like 2 or 3 of these and they're giant, and I still get my, let's see, 35 grams of protein per piece. But wait, I think I actually didn't calculate this right. But I also get a lot of fiber, and whatever the carbs are here, like they're from vegetables, they come with the fiber, they come with a lot of micronutrients, pretty minimum amount of fat. Yeah, let me recalculate this real quick. Yeah, this is actually incorrect. I think I put the carbs in here instead. This is 57% protein, so my satins are, turns out not that bad. All right, I'll correct that later. Cheese. Most of my friends be like, I can't go vegan because of cheese. Well, you don't have to. You can eat your hard cheeses if you want. But if you don't like all the fat from cheese, then get some nutritional yeast and sprinkle it on top of your everything. It tastes amazing. It's really easy to make into queso, quote unquote. You just get miso, lemon juice. You can add nuts if you want. I usually don't when I'm cutting. I am if I'm making it for friends, for like potlucks and things. Salt, pepper, blend it all together, and there's your cheese. 80% protein and nutritional yeast. Pretty dang good. No, I would say no, non-vegan cheese or other vegan cheese that you buy at the store can beat that. Vegan cheeses that are store made are pretty much just as awful as the non-vegan ones when it comes to nutrition. Cool, takeaways. I hope this is pretty straightforward, that you can kind of eat everything as long as you fit in your bad foods around your good foods, not the other way around. Macro and micronutrient balance of what you eat throughout the day matters. So don't try to have all the carbs for breakfast, all the fats for lunch, and be like, shit, I have 140 grams of protein to get from dinner. It's easier for your body to absorb that stuff when you spread it out, and when each meal kind of represents your macro breakdown of your entire day. That should be straightforward, but just reminding it for the people who like to have an occasional donut and muffin and a frappe for breakfast. I know that's not you guys, but maybe some of the people who'll be rewatching this later. You can speed muscle gain or fat loss if you're a natural athlete, right? So going back to the first slide, you can only gain so much muscle in a year, and your fat loss, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, shoot for 1% of body weight unless you're obese. The leaner you get, the slower it's going to be. Otherwise, you lose muscle. Sorry, that's how body works. So you can keep it optimal. You can't speed it up. The longer you train, the slower, I was writing this fast. The slower your progress is going to be, but that doesn't mean you should stop, right? You can still get a little stronger and a little leaner every time. And yep, the leaner you are, the harder it is to lose the fat. And we stay consistent to keep this thing optimal. Cool. I feel like that's all I got for today, and hope you guys didn't fall asleep. Questions? That was a lot of information.
And just another comment, just a little tip is aiming for low fat. There's tons of low fat options. So like you don't have to go vegan. You can just choose the low fat cheese, the low fat cottage cheese, cream cheese. There's almost every fatty food has a low fat option, and that's how I started losing weight myself. Is just picking that at the grocery store rather than the regular.
I totally agree. Yeah. The reason why I highlighted vegan is mainly because, well, first, people are asking me that a lot. And then second is a lot of people worry about cholesterol. So all animal foods are going to have cholesterol in some amounts, even egg whites and, your skim milk. They still have a little bit. So people with heart issues do need to watch out for that. But you're right. There's a lot of non-vegan foods they're even easier to find, right? That are lower fat. Vegan products that are high protein, low carb, and low fat are pretty hard to find, but we do what we can. What are your favorite staples that are low fat, Angela?
I do a lot of the Greek yogurt and cottage cheese because you can do both sweet or savory. And I've been using Greek yogurt instead of sour cream for like potatoes or just anything you would use sour cream for. And I think it tastes almost exactly the same, but the protein is so much better. So it's just way better to fit my macros.
I agree. Yep, I agree. And you can always put some stevia, put some lemon juice, put some whatever the vinegar, whatever the spices, like experiment with your spices. If you're not happy with how the low fat stuff tastes, no, it's not the same. It's not going to taste the same. Spice it up. Use some vinegar. Use herbs.
Yeah, I usually just Google like high protein, low fat, like lunch ideas. So usually by the end of the day, like I'm usually pretty low on carbs and fat, honestly. So like I will have some cereal as a snack because I can afford it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you totally can afford it. Like I remember when we just started working out, your fat was pretty high, but now you've learned how to keep it relatively low carb, low fat during the day. So in the end, you were like, I did well. I can eat whatever. Yeah.
Popcorn all the time.
Yeah, popcorn. Popcorn is a good one. It has a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
I did not do this before, but I probably watched too much Coach Greg. And now instead of like my, I don't know, rice, quinoa, like whatever the grain that I used to have next to my tofu seitan, TDP or vegan sausages, I would have a huge bowl of popcorn because like a small little half a cup of grain is still pretty high calorie, but like a whole thing of popcorn, like I'm just gonna get very satisfied, and it takes me forever to eat it.
I agree.
Josh, what do you say? How has your traveling meal situation been?
Been good. Just drinking a ton of shakes and bars that I can take with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like
Protein shakes in there. You're right. What is wrong with me?
you said what?
I didn't even put protein on the slides because I thought it was like pretty obvious. Like, duh, you can have your isolate, vegan, non-vegan. Who cares? Like, it's easy. You're right.
Yeah, I feel like 75% of everything I ingest is liquid form or like a bar of some kind of protein bar, because they're all usually just high fiber, high protein, lowish fat. So it's pretty much great for.
What brands do you buy? Can you tell us some brands? Because I've only discovered one brand that I like how it tastes and I like the macros. And unfortunately, it's not vegan. It's Kirkland.
Have you heard of Vega?
Yes, they are high carb. They have more carbs than protein.
Oh yeah, I drink a lot of like the Vega shakes. I think they're vegan or at least plant-based.
Vega is plant-based. Yeah, I just didn't like the macros of the bars, but the shakes.
Oh yeah. I don't eat the bars. I drink the shakes. As far as bars, they have like Oat Mega. Those are the ones I eat a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, those. I have a lot of the Quest bars.
Okay.
Those are like, yeah, some of my favorites. They have like the Hero bars. And then obviously I have like the meal replacement shake that I eat or drink.
Can I ask how much fiber per day you've been getting? Because if you eat the bars and drink the shakes, that sounds like very low fiber and not,
I think I'm getting, I mean, the bars usually have a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting at least 35 grams a day of fiber. Yeah. I take a fiber supplement as well with like every shake I take, but I know Alexi was trying to tell me to make sure I get enough without the powder.
And I did as well. Yeah, I don't usually recommend more than 60 grams of protein from shakes and bars. So your body likes to digest whole foods. It needs to not forget how to do that. So you do need to eat your vegetables. I'm sorry, your mom.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if there's, in the same vein of this nutrition talk, if there's a certain amount of, I feel like I've asked this a bunch of different times to different people, but if there's a certain amount of protein that your body can digest at once, like at one time.
It goes down after 25 grams, 25. It's not like you necessarily can't digest it. Like there's different research.
But I'll be honest.
Go ahead.
70 grams of protein in one sitting. And I think it's working for me, but I think that's a lot of individual differences. And I know the science is not exactly supporting my anecdotal experiences, but
Angela, you broke up in the beginning. How much did you say you get in per meal?
are you still talking to me?
Sorry, you broke up for a second, Angela. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I got disconnected.
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
I can hear you, but it's all right. Awesome. Yeah. So I eat like I can eat like 70 grams of protein per sitting, and then I usually have like 2 meals, 4-hour window. So I'll end up with like 120 protein, 1 pound per body weight, but it's been working for me. It's mostly, I don't eat any protein shakes though. So instead of a protein shake, I've been doing the silken tofu and egg whites with a bunch of stevia and fruit. And that's a ton of protein. And I don't notice the difference between using egg whites and water. And I think it actually makes it creamier and more of a like milkshake type. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does not taste like a milkshake, but it does taste kind of like a milkshake. So it's like a treat.
You drink them raw?
Yeah. Is that bad? I don't know if that's bad, but
I don't know. I mean, if you're not of salmonella, but I guess all eggs here are like somehow disinfected.
If it's pasteurized, I think the like straight from the carton, the pasteurization, I think gets the diseases out of it.
The disease.
I have not gotten sick yet, but knock on wood.
Oh, from Angela's anecdotal experience, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, in terms of how many meals a day, Josh, like that's a good question, because now, for example, I'm like cutting, but kind of slowly, and I kind of don't care. I'm not like on a schedule by that time, like I need to be stage ready. So I would probably eat 3 meals and have like 1 or 2 snacks and try to get at least 20 grams of protein in each meal or snack. But sometimes I'll eat twice a day. And that usually just because I'm traveling, I forget or whatever. And when I am prepping for stage, a lot of the times, like, yeah, I'll try to sleep more. I wake up and I run and try to postpone my first meal, is because I eat a lot less. I will eat 2 meals and I'll do more of what Angela is doing, is I'll eat 2 huge meals and I'll get very full. So the amount of protein that I eat in each meal is larger. And if I eat a snack, that just makes me ravenously hungry. So I don't snack. And then in between meals, I'll have large breaks. So also conflicting research, but in the past, we used to believe a lot of small meals make you lose the fat more and keep the muscle. Now I see the research saying that if you have larger breaks between meals, then your body actually can start burning the fat more because there's no more glycogen in your blood, and it actually starts to burn the fat. So I would do that on prep, but probably the number one reason is because otherwise I just eat out of control and I get too hungry, and it's more dangerous for me to binge eat. So that's why.
That's exactly how I feel. Like if I have a little tiny snack, I just get so hungry and I don't feel satiated at all. And then I end up eating way more later. And so I end up going over, and it doesn't work out for me.
Yeah.
The science is always good to follow, but I think finding what works best for you and what you can actually maintain, and like Katya was saying, be consistent. That's what's key. So trying different things, seeing what works for you, and then going with what works for you.
That I totally agree, because we're so different. Awesome. Any more questions, guys?
What about is there any truth to the whole anabolic window type thing post-workout? Like, is that does it matter when you get your macros in as long as you get it in during the day?
I would say no. Unfortunately, I would say it's, if people worry about those minor details, you know, like, ooh, I wake up and I immediately like eat my creatine and do this, and after workout I also get like my EAAs and this much, like, and before bed, like, I have a client, I know he's watching this later, who will like eat peanut butter before bed because it's like fat, and he's worried about like you know, muscle breakdown if he is hungry when sleeping. And I mean, just meal timing, it matters to an extent, but as long as you don't eat one meal a day and then starve yourself for the rest of it and do too much cardio, then you're probably fine. You know, just try not to like do a roller coaster of like, I eat, you know, well until it's like Wednesday, and by Wednesday I'm like, if there's happy hour, and the next day you're like, I don't have my meal prep, and then there's weekend and you like go out and stuff. So if you try to keep your nutrition relatively consistent throughout all days, get your fiber and your protein from whole foods, and, you know, supplement with some EAs, some creatine, and whatever the vitamins your body needs depending on your dietary preferences, then you should be good. You can get 20 grams of, you know, protein and carbs after your workout, but you're probably going to do that anyways because you're going to have lunch or dinner or breakfast. You don't have to just like have a certain grams in your shake.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, if you're eating before you work out, it takes a minute to digest the food. So usually there's some food still in your system post workout. So I don't think you need to get it in 30 minutes. Like your body's still processing that protein you ate pre-workout.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't
eating before you work out, some people do that, or they will have like a banana or some gummy bears while they're in the gym. Unless you're drinking some sugary water, right? Your juice, your soda, whatever, it's not going to end up in your bloodstream quickly. If you eat a food, it is going to be in your stomach when you work out. Do not eat during the workout. You don't want to work out when you're full. Eat 3 hours before your workout, and go to the gym when you're starting to get a little bit hungry. When you're, definitely don't go to the gym when you're full. So that insulin spike that I was talking about, that's not when you eat your rice or bread or whatever half an hour before the gym. Like, that's not how digestion works. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Good conversation today. If you want something related to nutrition or working out or whatever other questions are interesting, please let me know and put it in the chat. And thank you guys for coming. I will post this in the group for everybody to check out, and hope I didn't do this beautiful presentation for nothing. I'm gonna correct some one number in there from Seitan to 57%, unlike steak 35%, and share it all with y'all. Awesome. I will see whoever's coming to the gym on Monday tomorrow, and then the rest of y'all I will talk throughout the week.
All right. Later.
Have a good rest of your Sunday. Bye, guys.